Lewis Nixon III was a man of great character and courage, whose contributions during World War II left an indelible mark on history. Serving as part of the 101st Airborne Division, Nixon participated in some of the most critical battles of the war, including D-Day, Operation Market Garden, and the Battle of the Bulge. His steadfast resolve and tactical acumen played a pivotal role in the Allied efforts to defeat the Axis powers. Nixon's war journey began with the daring parachute drops into Nazi-occupied France during the D-Day invasion. Facing immense danger, he joined his comrades in fighting to liberate Europe from German occupation. From the frozen forests of Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge to the complex and ambitious Operation Market Garden, Nixon's presence in these pivotal battles underscored his commitment to the Allied cause. What sets Nixon apart, however, is not just his military service, but also the unique and lasting relationships he formed during the war. His story gained widespread recognition through HBO's acclaimed miniseries Band of Brothers, where his character was portrayed as a loyal and insightful officer. The series highlighted his deep friendship with Major Dick Winters, his commanding officer and confidant. Despite their contrasting personalities, Nixon, the worldly Ivy League graduate with a penchant for fine liquor, and Winters, the disciplined and teetotaling native of Pennsylvania, they shared a profound mutual respect and camaraderie. Nixon's role in the war and his personal bond with Winters exemplify the human connections forged under extraordinary circumstances. Together, they navigated the perils of war, demonstrating courage, leadership, and an unwavering dedication to their mission. The enduring friendship of Nixon and Winters. Amid the harrowing trials of World War II, a profound bond formed between Major Dick Winters and Captain Lewis Nixon III. Their friendship became one of the most remarkable aspects of Easy Company's journey through Europe, demonstrating that camaraderie could thrive even in the most grueling circumstances. While their personalities were markedly different, Winters, the disciplined and stoic leader, and Nixon, the witty and carefree socialite, they complemented each other perfectly. Winters often described Nixon as his closest confidant and trusted ally, stating, "He was the best combat officer I ever worked with." A partnership forged under fire. Nixon's fearlessness and quick-thinking nature were invaluable during the chaos of battle. Whether navigating artillery fire or strategizing under immense pressure, Nixon's composure and adaptability earned the respect of his comrades. His natural leadership and tactical intelligence provided critical support to Winters, who relied heavily on Nixon's sharp instincts and level-headedness. Winters admired Nixon's ability to remain unfazed by the horrors of war, even while enduring personal struggles. Nixon's humor and resilience became a source of strength not only for Winters, but for the entire Easy Company. His actions at Normandy, Operation Market Garden, and the Battle of the Bulge were a testament to his dedication and courage. Beyond the front lines, their friendship extended beyond the battlefield, becoming a lifeline in the aftermath of the war. Both men faced the challenges of transitioning back to civilian life, and their shared experiences forged a connection that endured for the rest of their lives. Despite Nixon's personal struggles with alcoholism and the complexities of his post-war years, Winters remained a steadfast friend, offering support and guidance when Nixon needed it most. In many ways, their relationship exemplified the brotherhood that defined Easy Company, a bond that transcended rank, class, and circumstance. Together, they embodied the spirit of resilience and loyalty that carried them through one of history's darkest periods. The legacy of Lewis Nixon. While Band of Brothers introduced audiences to Nixon's wit, charm, and courage, it only scratched the surface of his story. Nixon's contributions to Easy Company's success were immense, and his bravery under fire left an indelible mark on the men who served alongside him. Through the lens of his friendship with Winters, Nixon's legacy continues to inspire generations, reminding us of the unbreakable bonds formed in the crucible of war. Part 3. Early Life and Education. Lewis Nixon was born on September 30th, 1918, in New York City. He was the oldest of 3 children, with a younger brother named Fletcher Ryer and a sister named Blanche. Tragically, Fletcher passed away as an infant in 1922, leaving only Lewis and Blanche behind. Growing up, Lewis and his sister lived a privileged life, traveling often thanks to their parents, Stanhope Wood Nixon and Doris Ryer. His grandfather was a shipbuilder, and at just 7 years old, Lewis competed in a model yacht regatta in Central Park's Conservatory Lake on May 22, 1926. Spending his youth between Manhattan and Montecito, California, Lewis was fortunate to travel across Europe before the war. These experiences allowed him to witness the diverse cultures of Germany, England, and France before they were shattered by conflict. A Call to Duty. The story of Lewis Nixon III, Easy Company's charismatic and sharp-witted intelligence officer, began far from the battlefields of Europe. Born into privilege, Nixon attended the esteemed Cates School in Santa Barbara, California, and later gained admission to Yale University, a path that seemed to set the course for a prosperous civilian life. However, the onset of World War II altered his trajectory profoundly. In 1941, shortly after marrying his first wife, Nixon answered the nation's call to arms, enlisting in the United States Army on January 14, 1941, in Trenton, New Jersey. By year's end, Nixon had completed basic training at Camp Croft, South Carolina, where he first crossed paths with a man who would become one of his closest lifelong friends, Richard Dick Winters. Though their friendship would only fully flourish later, their initial meeting foreshadowed the deep bond they would forge during the war. The making of a leader. After basic training, Nixon and Winters were selected to attend Army Officer Cadet School at Fort Benning, Georgia, a rigorous program designed to shape the next generation of leaders for the U.S. Army. It was here that both men honed their leadership skills and earned their commissions as second lieutenants. Following their commissioning, their paths diverged temporarily. Winters was sent to an infantry unit, while Nixon was assigned to a military police unit at Fort Ord, California. However, Nixon's ambition and sense of duty drove him to seek more challenging assignments. He volunteered for the paratroopers, an elite unit of soldiers whose daring missions and rigorous training made them among the most respected forces in the Army. This decision set him on a path that would reunite him with Winters and bring him to Company E, 2nd Battalion, Easy Company, of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, based at Camp Toccoa, Georgia. Camp Toccoa, the birth of Easy Company. At Camp Toccoa, Nixon and Winters joined the fledgling Easy Company under the command of Captain Herbert Sobel, a strict and often abrasive leader whose harsh training regimen became infamous among the men. While Sobel's methods built physical endurance and discipline, his leadership style created friction, leaving many soldiers resentful and morale low. For Nixon, this environment was both physically demanding and mentally taxing, but it was also where his natural wit and charm began to emerge as a defining feature. He quickly gained the respect of his comrades for his intelligence, adaptability, and ability to lift spirits during tough times. Together with Winters, Nixon became a stabilizing presence within the company, fostering camaraderie and trust among the men. Volunteering for greatness. Nixon's decision to leave the relative security of a military police unit for the perilous life of a paratrooper exemplifies his adventurous spirit and unwavering commitment to serving his country. This willingness to embrace risk and lead by example would later define his contributions to Easy Company as their intelligence officer. As Easy Company embarked on his journey toward the war-torn fields of Europe, Nixon stood ready to face the challenges ahead with the same courage and resolve that had guided his journey so far. His bond with Winters, forged in the crucible of war, would prove pivotal not only to their personal survival, but also to the success of their unit in some of World War II's most significant campaigns. Early challenges and leadership. The training regimen for Easy Company, under the command of First Lieutenant Herbert Sobel, was grueling and often unforgiving. Sobel's relentless focus on discipline and physical endurance pushed the men of Easy Company to their limits, preparing them for the rigors of airborne combat. However, Sobel's leadership style, characterized by harsh treatment and questionable decision-making, led to growing tensions within the unit. By October 1942, these frustrations culminated in Sobel's demotion, a decision that reshaped the leadership dynamics of Easy Company. As Sobel stepped down, Richard Winters, whose quiet confidence and unwavering dedication had earned the respect of his men, was promoted to first lieutenant. Simultaneously, Lewis Nixon assumed command of the 2nd Platoon, further solidifying the bond between the two officers. The changes in leadership brought a sense of renewed trust and morale within the company, setting the stage for their upcoming missions. By September 1943, Easy Company, as part of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, had been deployed to Aldbourne, England, where they continued intensive training. The focus shifted to preparing for the Allied invasion of Nazi-occupied Europe. In Aldbourne, Nixon's intelligence acumen became increasingly evident as he meticulously gathered and analyzed critical information to support Easy Company's objectives. The heroics in Nazi-occupied Europe. On June 6, 1944, the Allied invasion of Normandy, also known as D-Day, marked a turning point in World War II. Over 150,000 Allied troops crossed the English Channel into France to liberate Europe from Nazi control. Among them was the 101st Airborne Division, tasked with securing critical landing sites and disrupting German defenses ahead of the main invasion force. In the early hours of D-Day, Richard Winters parachuted into Normandy, landing near Sainte-Mère-Église around 1h du matin. Chaos marked the initial hours as scattered paratroopers attempted to regroup under fire. Winters, having lost his rifle during the jump, quickly located a small group of Easy Company soldiers. Upon discovering that the company's aerial headquarters had been destroyed in transit, Winters assumed command of the remaining troops. One of Winters' most celebrated actions occurred during the Bricourt Manor assault. With only 13 men, Winters led a daring attack on a German artillery position fortified by 50 soldiers. These artillery pieces were targeting key exits on Utah Beach, jeopardizing the Allied advance. Through strategic planning and decisive action, Winters and his men successfully neutralized the position, disabling the guns and killing or capturing the enemy soldiers. During the assault, Winters retrieved a crucial map detailing German defensive positions along the coastline, an intelligence breakthrough that would save countless Allied lives. Meanwhile, Lewis Nixon, leveraging his expertise in reconnaissance, conducted critical intelligence operations in the field. After parachuting into Normandy, Nixon tracked down Winters and sprinted nearly 3 miles to Utah Beach, delivering vital information to advancing forces. Nixon's intelligence efforts ensured effective coordination between paratroopers and ground troops, significantly contributing to the success of the Normandy invasion. Winters' heroism at Bricourt Manor became legendary, later studied as a model for small unit tactics at the United States Military Academy at West Point. For his exceptional leadership and valor, Winters was promoted to captain. The battalion headquarters, recognizing the pivotal role of Easy Company, dispatched the first 2 tanks to land on Utah Beach to assist the 101st Airborne Division. The partnership between Nixon and Winters exemplified the extraordinary teamwork that defined Easy Company. Their actions during the Normandy invasion not only turned the tide of the war, but also cemented their legacy as 2 of the most remarkable figures in World War II history. Operation Market Garden Building on their triumph in Normandy. The Allied forces launched Operation Market Garden in September 1944, a bold initiative to liberate Holland from Nazi control. The operation aimed to seize a series of strategic bridges and pave the way for an advance into Germany, but it would prove to be one of the most challenging missions for Easy Company. Easy Company parachuted into the town of Sun, tasked with capturing key positions and disrupting German supply lines. During this mission, Lewis Nixon had a brush with death when a stray bullet pierced his helmet, grazing his head before exiting. The close call underscored the constant danger faced by the men of Easy Company, but Nixon's composure and determination remained unshaken. Despite his courage in the field, Nixon faced personal struggles that began to impact his military career. Promoted to captain in the regimental S-2 intelligence unit, Nixon's growing reliance on alcohol became a concern. His drinking, exacerbated by the stress of war, eventually led to his demotion before the conflict concluded. Adding to his personal turmoil, Nixon received a devastating telegram from his wife, announcing her intention to divorce him. These personal challenges often left Nixon battling hangovers, making it difficult for him to perform his duties effectively. Yet, despite these struggles, Nixon's intelligence work and unwavering loyalty to Easy Company continued to make him a valuable asset. His bond with Richard Winters, strengthened by shared hardships, provided much-needed support during this difficult time. The Battle of the Bulge. As winter set in, the men of Easy Company faced their most harrowing challenge yet, the Battle of the Bulge. This pivotal conflict took place in Bastogne, Belgium, in December 1944, as German forces launched a surprise counteroffensive to reclaim lost ground. Outnumbered and under-equipped, Easy Company was tasked with holding the line against 15 German divisions in freezing conditions with little food, ammunition, or medical supplies. Nixon, despite his personal struggles, stood alongside Winters and the men of Easy Company as they dug into defensive positions in the snow-covered forests surrounding Bastogne. The brutal weather, coupled with relentless German artillery barrages, pushed the company to its physical and mental limits. Nixon's role as an intelligence officer proved critical during the siege. He relayed vital information about German troop movements and supply lines, enabling Easy Company to anticipate and repel enemy attacks. His experience and quick thinking under pressure contributed to the unit's resilience during the grueling week-long standoff. Winters, as the de facto leader of Easy Company, continued to inspire his men through his unshakable resolve and strategic brilliance. Together, Nixon and Winters navigated the chaos of battle, forging a partnership that epitomized the strength and camaraderie of Easy Company. By the end of the Battle of the Bulge, Nixon had fought across France, Holland, and Belgium, while Easy Company steadily advanced toward Germany. Their survival in Bastogne became a defining moment in the war, symbolizing the courage and determination of the 101st Airborne Division. For Nixon and the men of Easy Company, the battle was not just a test of their military prowess, but a testament to their unbreakable spirit. Witnessing atrocities. On April 28, 1945, Lewis Nixon and Richard Winters, alongside the men of Easy Company, arrived at Kaufering 4, a satellite camp of the Dachau concentration camp located in Landsberg, am Lech, Bavaria. This moment would become one of the most haunting experiences of their military service. As one of the first Allied units to reach the camp, Nixon and Winters were confronted with the devastating reality of Nazi atrocities. The campgrounds were strewn with over 500 charred corpses, the result of Nazi guards setting fire to the barracks in an attempt to destroy evidence of their crimes. Survivors, clad in ragged uniforms, shuffled weakly through the remains of the camp, their gaunt faces etched with unimaginable suffering. The stench of death was overwhelming. The men of Easy Company, hardened by months of combat, were visibly shaken as they tried to comprehend the scale of human suffering they had uncovered. Nixon, typically composed, was particularly affected by the scene. Both he and Winters later reflected on how this moment solidified their understanding of the true cost of the war and why they had fought so relentlessly. The Band of Brothers episode, Why We Fight, captures the visceral impact of this discovery on the soldiers, illustrating the weight of the responsibility they bore as witnesses to history. The arrival of Allied troops saved the remaining survivors, offering them a glimmer of hope amid the horrors they had endured. Just 2 days later, on April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler committed suicide in his Berlin bunker. The Nazi regime was crumbling, and the war in Europe was nearing its end. On May 5, 1945, Easy Company was tasked with capturing Berchtesgaden, home to Hitler's Eagle's Nest, high in the Bavarian Alps. The mission marked the culmination of Easy Company's journey through Europe. Upon securing Berchtesgaden, the men discovered Hitler's stolen wine collection, a symbol of the decadence of the Third Reich. Winters, recognizing the significance of their bond, allowed Nixon the first choice of the spoils. This gesture exemplified the deep camaraderie and mutual respect they had developed through shared trials and triumphs. Post-war life. After Germany's surrender on May 7, 1945, the war ended, but for Lewis Nixon, the battle for personal peace had just begun. Returning to America, Nixon faced significant challenges, including a worsening struggle with alcoholism. His first 2 marriages ended in divorce, and the adjustment to civilian life proved difficult for the man who had once thrived under the pressures of wartime leadership. In 1956, Nixon's life took a positive turn when he met and married Grace Umezawa, a woman whom Richard Winters described as Nixon's true soulmate. Grace brought stability and joy into Nixon's life, helping him overcome many of his personal demons. Winters later wrote, "Until Lewis met and married Grace, he had never found or experienced true love." Together, Nixon and Grace embraced a life of adventure, traveling extensively and building a life far removed from the chaos of war. Nixon's resilience in rebuilding his life stands as a testament to his character, even as he carried the memories of his wartime experiences with him. Friendship with Dick Winters. The bond between Lewis Nixon and Richard Winters endured long after the war ended. From the battlefields of Europe to the quiet days of retirement, their friendship was a constant in both their lives. Winters often spoke of Nixon's loyalty, bravery, and intellect, holding him in the highest regard. When Nixon passed away on January 11, 1995, at the age of 76, it was Winters who delivered his eulogy. Reflecting on their shared journey, Winters honored Nixon not only as a soldier, but as a friend who had stood by him through the darkest and most trying moments of their lives. Winters recalled the pact they had made during the war. If one of them didn't survive, the other would ensure their family knew the truth about what had happened. That promise symbolized the depth of their bond, a friendship forged in the crucible of war and strengthened by mutual respect and understanding. In his eulogy, Winters spoke of Nixon's unique ability to find moments of light even in the darkest times, praising his humor, resilience, and humanity. His words reflected not only the loss of a dear friend, but also a celebration of a life lived with courage and grace. Through Winters' heartfelt tribute, the legacy of Lewis Nixon lives on as a shining example of loyalty, friendship, and perseverance. Part 12. Legacy. The story of Captain Lewis Nixon III is one of resilience, loyalty, and courage. His journey through the grueling battles of World War II, marked by moments of triumph and personal struggle, is a testament to the complexities of human strength and the enduring impact of wartime bonds. Nixon's dedication to his comrades and his country left an indelible mark on those who served alongside him. As depicted in Band of Brothers, his friendship with Dick Winters stands as one of the most poignant examples of the camaraderie forged in the face of unimaginable adversity. Their bond was not merely one of convenience in wartime, but a lifelong connection built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. Despite the challenges he faced after the war, battling alcoholism and navigating personal hardships, Nixon's life was a testament to the power of perseverance. His eventual happiness with Grace Umezawa, his passion for exploration, and the steadfast loyalty he maintained to his brothers in arms highlight the multifaceted nature of his legacy. Nixon's story, intertwined with that of Easy Company, continues to inspire generations who look to the past for lessons in courage and sacrifice. His life serves as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, the human spirit has the capacity for enduring strength and connection. Through the vivid portrayal in Band of Brothers and the memories of those who knew him, Captain Lewis Nixon III's legacy lives on, a rich tapestry of bravery, challenges, and unwavering loyalty to the values he held dear. Goodbye and rest in peace, Captain Lewis Nixon. Your story will never be forgotten.